All right, a bit of some news, what you call traffic news. Of course, every business is my business here and our business here on Business Morning. Of course, a bit of a vehicular snarl on that very famous road, Lagos-Ibadan Highway, just right in front of where I am. Of course, you can see that here. But of course, if you live in Lagos and do business with Lagos, you know what that road is all about. There's a very heavy vehicular traffic there this morning, all the way coming into the country's financial capital, Lagos. Of course, a bit of a problem there down the Otedola Bridge, around that place where the news report says there's a container vehicle coming into the city that dropped his cargoes on the highway. So that's causing very heavy vehicular traffic. And that's all the way down to Ikeja Central Business District as we speak. And then, of course, you go a bit downtown to around Ipori, Ijora axis, where you have that old National Theatre. And then, of course, there's early morning a robbery there this morning. And, of course, that caused a number of vehicular accidents as folks who are driving down to downtown Lagos for work this morning started running helter-skelter and, of course, hitting each other and all that. So quite a lot of damages there to automobiles this morning. So that's not so good news. But, of course, you have a bit more of that in our news bulletin. This is where news comes first. But this is also very important because it's not a very good news to start the new year as far as Nigeria's purchasing managers index, what we call the manufacturing data. We saw this central bank data just sometime last week, showing that our PMI grew a little bit in the month of, it was sluggish a little bit in the month of January, but it's grew at a slower pace, both manufacturing and non-manufacturing. Then you have the FBN Quest, which is a bit more of an independent data, showing we lost about 14% on our PMI reading for the month of January. That's part of the conversation here this morning. And, of course, this will not be at a snail's speed. What do I mean? Bolanle Agwaji from FD Series here. It's good to have you. Let's talk about the snail speed a little bit later, shall we? But I'm sure the headline inflation, you folks are looking at January numbers, trading water slightly. Where do you guys see this coming through? Is it a food basket? Is it a core inflation? Where will it come from?
All of it. In January, we see that obviously consumers' disposable income naturally, declines, when they pay for their school fees, they have more important things, rent and all of those things that they spend their money on. And it follows through with empirical evidence where you have a case where they spend more in the Christmas, and then in January where all the parties are over, things become more serious.
The longest month in the year.
Exactly. So this is what we've found with our forecast. And also, just a key pointer is we have the fact that diesel price has also declined to about 240 naira per litre. It's still on the high side, but
we've seen 260.
Yes, exactly. So that has also played into the data.
The mix.
Yeah, and also the FAC also declined, which suggests a reduction in government spending, which also transcends into reduction in the monies in people's pockets. So that has another effect on the inflation numbers.
Okay, so you folks are looking at 11.35%. That's the first burning economic issue right there.
Yes.
Okay. Now then the PMI is that's a blow to my underbelly right now with this independent data from FBN Quest. 14.45%. That's quite massive.
Yeah, but it plays into the inflation as well. We've seen that in December, where manufacturers expect that disposable income is high, so they're motivated to supply more because they know that aggregate demand will definitely increase. But in January, where we're seeing slowdown in income, slowdown in aggregate demand, there's no incentive to increase supply. So that has also fed into the PMI index as well. But it's still on the expansion side, so it's no
51.5.
Yes.
Well, 50 is the threshold, right?
Yes.
This is 51.5. The CBN figure is a little bit higher than this. So
we're still within the 50s.
Yes, within the 50. Okay, there's no need to ring the alarm, to press the alarm bell for now. So just give the finger around there. But again, if you look at Naira, it's been a little bit steady on the US dollar. That's very surprising considering the political season we're in, that the Naira is gaining on the dollar. And that's one story we found. And you folks are also confirming that.
Well, what we've seen is between 2016, 2017, where we had, very intense economic conditions, where we saw, there were no central bank interventions, oil prices were going down rapidly and all that. That fed into, the increase or sharp increases in the or sharp depreciations in the exchange rate. But now where we've seen that between 2017, 2018, the CBN has made sure that they continue to back up the naira, although it's not sustainable, but it's another way to support the naira. So that all that is still feeding on into the the exchange rate.
The central bank is stubborn in terms of making sure there's stability in exchange rate. And they're not going to shift.
Yeah, of course, because once they feel like, although it's part of some of their policies that they need to focus on, apart from inflation and, unemployment, GDP, but regarding exchange rates, it's something that they need to, focus on so much, because once you find that there's depreciation in the exchange rate, then you see that investments within the country declined. It signals other harsh economic conditions, which they cannot neglect.
No, we can't afford to let loose of the naira. Once you let the naira loose, then you have the whole thing cascading.
Yes.
It's going to be a very... and I want to make it much in terms of portfolio inflows anyway. So yeah. We better keep what we have.
And also, I think the fact that U.S. maintained, status quo with their rates had also kept things in check.
Okay, even the dollar is a little bit sluggish. So,
yeah.
so thank you to the greenback. Let's go to the goodies and the downers, just for a few 1 or 2 minutes.
Well, so with the goodies, we have obviously the lower inflation rate and also the naira appreciation that we just discussed. But the downers, we have that, ExxonMobil and Chevron in the U.S., they've, they're ruthless about their investments within the oil production sphere. Although we've seen decline in oil prices and all that, it's kind of like fed into lower cost per barrel of production. So that has improved their incentives to invest within currently they're about to invest about $30 billion, which is huge, in the Permian Basin. Permian Basin currently is producing about 4 million barrels per day. That's ×2 of what Nigeria produces. So you can imagine what, the impact of this oil production or increase in oil production will do to the oil prices.
Yes, it looks like all the big boys there are making some announcements as far as 2019 is concerned.
Yes.
Total was making an announcement as the French oil giant. So it looks like it's a good new year for them, but again, Nigeria has its own issues to deal with as far as oil is concerned. But we can use some good news, which is about if inflation rate goes down a little bit, Naira appreciates a little bit, but we need to rev up on our industrial production.
But there's still some, there's still some drawbacks to the inflation rates. Although we're seeing in the next month, in January, we're going to see, a slowdown, but there's still risks to this slowdown in the sense of election spending, and also, for the budget as well would also feed into, and I'm sure that's what the MPC would, continue to consider why they keep maintaining status quo.
Okay, why are we, as far as power, I want us to just
power is relatively stable. We're improving slowly. We're still above, 4,000 megawatts, which is great. I know they mentioned that there are new investments within the, the power sector, which is something that, we would look at. But for now, we're happy that, power has maintained, its level above 4,000 megawatts, which is nice. It's something less to, worry about within the economy.
Okay. So we'll just try to keep a look at that little bar chart, right?
Yes.
Not so significantly there, but that tells you guys out there where we were as far as our power production, as far as the new month of February is concerned. That's February 3rd, which was just about the last weekend, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've still not done anything to, the challenges within the GENCOs, the challenges within the DISCOs, so those are still lingering effects within the power sector.
Lingering issues.
Yes.
We're yet to resolve.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the snail is slow, but that's a very sweet delicacy.
It's slow, but it's sweet business. It's fast business. It's currently worldwide global production of snail is currently at about 40 million kg, which is equivalent to about $173 billion, which is huge. Top producers right now, Morocco, Spain, Indonesia, those are some of the top producers. And the major consumers are within the European sphere.
Morocco's with the desert?
Yeah. Well, yes, but, I'm not sure what their strategy is regarding the production.
About the farming?
Yes, but it's
snail farming.
Snail farming, yeah. it's something that it seems like the irrigation, because water is extremely needed for you to, you know,
to do a snail farm.
Exactly.